I'm Ava, and I just got back from watching the new Wicked for Good movie, and I'm obsessed. Clearly. Because I already bought the new dolls. As I was watching, I immediately knew I had to recreate Glinda's amazing closet from her new penthouse. We're gonna start off by making the big circle doorway. To do that, I pull out my Cricut Maker 3, make a template in the Cricut design space, and cut out a bunch of pieces onto some basswood, which I then use my Fabric Fusion to glue and clamp all the pieces together. So then we're left with these two massive pieces. They like barely fit in frame. Next, we're gonna be using some EVA foam, or maybe it's EVA foam. I don't know, this stuff is kind of foreign to me, but I discovered it recently and I think it'll become a huge help in this video. I also literally bought 5 different thicknesses. I think we're gonna start out with the 4mm thickness, and I cut a 1.5 inch wide, super duper long strip from that I'm gonna glue in between our 2 huge arch pieces. Then I have yet another long strip of the EVA foam that I'm gonna glue on the inside of our circle this time. I cut yet another strip, this time from the 2mm EVA foam, that I'm gonna glue on top of the foam that we just glued in. And next, I'm very excited because we're gonna use some spackling. If you guys watched part 2 of turning mini brands items into Barbie doll size, you'll know that I fell in love with the spackling stuff. I really like this pink stuff that I used in that video, but it was kind of a thick consistency and not the easiest thing to maneuver. But I actually have this stuff that is a lot more lightweight and not as thick of a consistency that I think will work even better. And maybe also the other stuff might have dried out a little bit, to be honest. I also have this little silicone nail art tool that I'm gonna use to help me spread on the spackling. I think this will be good. Maybe. And I'm gonna use this stuff to basically fill in any of the cracks, seams, little areas that just don't look great, that could use a little bit of smoothing up. And it really just takes off the initial pressure of getting everything perfect when you're gluing things together, because you can just fix it later with spackling. Once that's dry, I'm gonna prep the entire thing with some gesso using this sponge. It's really important that I do this, especially on the EVA foam, because you need a primer on that before going in with any paint. Now, most of Glinda's closet is this really nice light pink color, except the back wall, which is kind of a bit of a darker, pinkier, reddish type of color, which is the exact color that I'm going to try to match and paint this wall. This did come out a little bit darker than planned. Before we do go in with the lighter pink color, there's this kind of detailing at the top of the circle that we're going to make using the 1mm thick EVA foam. Once again, I prep the foam with some gesso before painting all of the white areas with that light pink color. The amount of unique and intricate details in this closet is crazy, not to mention the attention to detail throughout the entire movie. And I'm not the only one excited about this, because the Wonders of Wicked have also arrived in June's Journey. If you've never played June's Journey before, it's a hidden object mystery game set in the 1920s. You play as June Parker, a brilliant amateur detective uncovering thrilling family secrets. Each chapter pulls you deeper into the story with gorgeous scenes that reveal new clues and plot twists. Not only do you solve mysteries, but you also get to decorate and customize your very own island, making it feel super personal to you. As you progress, you unlock new scenes, features, and special events, so there's always something exciting to explore. And as mentioned, June's Journey has teamed up with Wicked with a special in-game event that brings the world of Oz straight into the game. Until the end of January, you can explore iconic Wicked locations like Munchkin Land and Shiz University, and even collect special in-game rewards, including the Emerald City Beautification Reward, which is insanely stunning. I love hidden object games, especially when the scenes feel this detailed, and the Wicked event has me so excited because it really brings a whole new charm and magical feel to this already gorgeous game. Download June's Journey for free using my link in the description or the QR code on screen to uncover hidden treasures from Oz and jump into a world of enchanting mystery. Huge thank you to June's Journey for sponsoring today's video. Now, of course, it's not a Delightful Dolls room unless we use foam board. So I cut these 2 pieces out of foam board that are going to act as our walls. I really wanted these openings in the walls to be as tall as possible, but that kind of just resulted in me making this top piece so flimsy, which is not great, as we need this to actually be pretty supportive up here, but we're working with like a 1/4 inch. So to fix that problem, I'm gonna glue a strip of wood board on the back side to help make it a little less flimsy, hopefully. Then I attach these walls to the sides of our arch piece. I like to think I'm pretty good at planning stuff, but I didn't really plan these walls very well. Like, what is this? Just don't question it, trust the process, that's what I'm doing. Before we have too much time to dwell on these questionable walls, we're gonna move right into the roof. I've cut out a huge piece of 4mm thick EVA foam and cut out a huge other piece from that. So we're left with this flimsy looking thing. I'm scared. And basically, I'm gonna glue this to our structure. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if this is gonna be good, but it's what I came up with. I'm actually not feeling horrible about this. However, the front bit here is having a hard time keeping its shape since it is just foam and it's not actually glued to anything like that side over there. So I made this super thin arch piece, again with my Cricut machine and gluing wood together. And this will be the perfect thing to glue to the raw edge of our foam and help it keep its shape. Now, to add a bunch of texture and dimension to the walls and the roof, similar to Glinda's real closet, I'm going to glue on a whole bunch of thin 2mm thick strips of EVA foam. I wasn't lying when I said I'd be using a lot of EVA foam in this video. This step is also super helpful for covering up all the little cracks and seams, while adding another layer of realism to the space. It also really helps make the walls and the roof kind of become one, and just really flows everything nicely together. Everything's now prepped and ready to paint in that same light pink color that we used on the arch. I don't know if I got the color spot on, but I'm still pretty happy with it, and I believe it is finally time to start working on the floor. I have this huge piece of black foam board and this contact paper that I got off Amazon, because although it might not be easy to tell, it is actually like this dark green marble in the room. As easy as it would be to just wrap this foam board piece in our contact paper, I of course have to make things more difficult for myself. I cut out a ton of rectangles from paperboard, which I'm going to then individually wrap in the contact paper. Why do I do this to myself? Why? We're making individual tiles. I'm not loving all of this texture around the corners. It's like lifting and it's kind of giving this weird effect, but I think we're just gonna go with it anyways, because like, I don't know what else to do. Anyways, I'm now going to glue them on to our black piece of foam board, off-centering them in each row, kind of like a brick pattern. And then I glue our structure to the new flooring. I'm actually really pleasantly surprised with how the floor turned out. I didn't do the best gluing job ever, but hopefully that's something that nobody will really notice in the grand scheme of things. I really love how glossy it is though, and I think it looks really similar to Glinda's actual closet floor. But now it's time to go from the floor to the roof. In my opinion, one of the coolest parts about Glinda's closet is the roof, which is why I knew I needed to recreate it. And specifically, there's like this glass piece in the roof. It's either like just a light or a sunlight, but I want to recreate that, which is why I made this huge cutout in the roof earlier. Usually when I make windows on my doll building creations, I like to use the clear plastic from doll packaging, but for this, I did not have a piece big enough. So I got this huge roll of clear acetate, and I'm gonna cut a really big piece out of it and tape it down onto my cutting mat. And then to try to replicate the kind of line detailing on the glass, I have some dark pink vinyl that I'm gonna cut really thin strips out of, and start by sticking that onto our acetate paper to make a big rectangle the size of the cutout in our roof. And I continue to use those vinyl strips to create a kind of design. It was really hard to see what the design was in the original closet, so I'm kind of just guessing and doing my own thing here. Once the design is all finished, I can glue this big piece onto our roof. And I'm feeling really good about how this came out. I'm loving the design that I came up with. Now, of course, a closet is not a closet without somewhere for all the clothes and accessories to go, which is where the two little rooms on the side come in. As much as I'm loving it open on the sides for all the lighting to come in, I'm really excited to attach on the little rooms, which I make by gluing a bunch of foam board pieces together for the floor and the walls. Now, you'll notice the walls on the little pocket room thingies are actually wood, so I have some big pieces of wood board that I'm also going to glue smaller strips of wood board to for extra detailing. It's time to pull out our wood stain. This stuff has come in handy for many projects now, and I'm hoping it'll come in handy again today. So let's shake this up really good, and I'm gonna pour some into this bowl. I can never get the portions right, and I almost always pour out too much. So maybe we'll just stick with that, and then I am gonna add some water to it as well to dilute the color a little bit. I'm gonna dip the sponge into the stain and proceed to stain all of our wood pieces. We got leftovers. I can never get it right. And then of course we need to finish off with our varnish. And I'll brush on a couple layers of that on top of our stained wood. Once the varnish is dry, I can glue all of our wood pieces to the walls of the little rooms. I made a couple more tiles to glue onto the floors before officially attaching the rooms to our structure. I'm feeling good about this. Now in these little pocket rooms, you'll notice they have some kind of like really bright lights shining down. So to kind of recreate that effect, this time I actually am going to use clear plastic from doll packaging. I actually really liked how our acetate clear roll stuff worked for the roof. But for this, I want it to be slightly sturdier, so this will be the method for sure. And then I just have a couple more strips of that same vinyl we used on the roof that I stick to our clear plastic. And we'll glue it to the top of the little rooms. I think you can kind of see what I'm going for here. And now my lights can kind of just shine through and hopefully create a similar effect. And if we do want additional lighting to really try to get that effect that there's actual real light in the roof there, I got these little square lights that are actually so cool. This might be my new obsession. They're super bright and they have all sorts of fun features, and you can even attach several ones together. And then if we place these on top of the clear plastic, it'll look like a really bright light is shining down. If we're going with this method, I'm gonna have to invest in a few more of these lights though. I ordered 4 more on Amazon, they just might not get here in time for this video. If you didn't already notice, unlike Glinda's real closet, I only have 2 of these little rooms and not 4. Because that was going to be so much extra work, especially because between the 4 of them, there's really only 2 types of rooms, and 2 of them have a clothing rack for hanging different dresses and clothes, and the other 2 kind of have an identical setup with the exact same dresser. So I didn't really need to make 2 of each room. I just didn't want to do all that. I didn't want to do all that. So instead, I'm just going to make 1 of each type of room, starting with the clothing rack room. I cut this piece of wooden dowel and I'm going to paint it in silver acrylic paint, and I'll glue it in place into the little room. I also bought some sheets of acrylic and I cut out a strip from it. I had to try to like snap it in half on the edge of my table. It was kind of scary. And so we're left with this long rectangle piece that should fit perfectly above our wooden dowel to act as a shelf. As mentioned, the other type of room has a kind of like dresser looking thing and has a unique look to it that I'm gonna try to replicate as similarly as possible using mainly foam board. So I just glue a bunch of foam board pieces together. I'm gonna use our thicker EVA foam on the side of these little shelves to create this kind of like curved piece. And then of course, because it's way too much work, we're not actually making real drawers, and we're just gonna glue on more EVA foam to look like fake little drawers. And for the fun little circular pieces at the top of these like side pieces, I just have thick wooden dowels that I'm gonna glue on top. I'm really trying to pay attention to all the little details for this room. Like for this dresser, for example, no one would have probably known that like the bottom was curved here, because like you can only see it in this one specific scene for like one frame, and like nobody's even paying attention to that. So I feel like I really am putting in the effort here, and I'm making sure it's not going unnoticed because I'm telling all you guys about it. I'm probably doing too much. The next step though is definitely going to be using more of the spackling to fix up. Ooh. We're going to use it to fix all the cracks, all the seams, everything that's not looking great. We're going to use spackling to fix it and get that nice, smooth, cohesive look. We're now going to prep the entire surface in some gesso once again. I now have to attempt something kind of scary. I'm going to try to paint this thing to look like it's wood. So basically just mainly painting it a lighter brown color, and then I'll kind of like brush on some darker strokes of brown. I then also seal the entire thing in a layer of matte Mod Podge. I thought I had the perfect plan, and I was gonna use the biggest size from my silver nail art balls, but I'm realizing that's definitely gonna be way too small. I'm gonna put little blobs of hot glue onto paper. I paint them in a layer of gel top coat and cure them all. I have some silver nail chrome powder, which is the same kind of stuff I actually use to do these nails, and I'm gonna use this to rub onto our little hot glue gun blobs. And I finish off with one more layer of the top coat. I cut them out and glue them to our dresser. I'm really happy with how these came out. This looks so good. I'm gonna slide it into place into the room. As for the blank back wall, in the original Glinda closet, there's actually 3 really pretty framed photos that I printed off, and I'm gonna cut them out. I'm gonna carefully put a little bit of hot glue on the very rim of the photos and glue that to some clear plastic. So when I cut it out, it looks like there's some glass on top. I got my Cricut to cut out these little frames from 1mm thick EVA foam, but I'm just gonna glue the little frames to our photos. Now I know we don't have the best history when it comes to using nail builder gel for the doll projects. Thought this would make it better. I was wrong. And I did tell myself I would never do that again, but I'm gonna do it again because I feel like this could actually be useful for this next step. Because the frames would be okay like this, but I want them to look a little bit more rounder. So I'm gonna try putting a layer of builder gel on top of the frames. I also made this little temporary piece on the back so I can hold it while I put the nail builder gel on, because I want to have it on the entire frame before curing it. Look how innovative I am. I think now let's just paint on a layer of gesso. And if any of the gesso gets onto the clear plastic, after it dries, I can just scrape it away. And I'm very pleasantly surprised with how this turned out. You can see the difference here, maybe. I mean, it's more obvious in person, I think. But it is there. Or maybe I'm just telling myself that because that was way too much work for it to have done nothing. And now we can finally paint on the gold color of the frame. Just look how pretty that is. I'm always a sucker for a gold and pink combo. And now we can finally glue these in place above our dresser. Another thing you'll notice from the original room is that there are some dresses hanging on the walls. So we're gonna install some hooks. I had no other choice but to buy a 100 pack when I really only need 4. Now I believe this should be a pretty straightforward process. They even have the little screw. So I'm literally just gonna like poke it into where we want it and twist it into the wall. Why do I feel like I'm like a legit carpenter or something right now? Ooh. It did poke through on the back. That's unfortunate. I'll just have to put something over that so I don't accidentally stab myself. But that looks good. It's a little off-centered, I'm realizing. Whatever. And I guess let's just put in all the other ones. Every time. That was way too much fun. I literally want to put these hooks everywhere now. And we definitely have enough to make it happen. But I am trying to stay true to the original closet. Now I am so excited because I believe it is finally time to move on to the best part and what really brings this whole room together, which is the decorating. First off, we're going to start by hanging some clothes on the clothing rack. As you can imagine, Glinda's wardrobe is very much pink, so I scrounged together all of my pink dresses and we're going to hang some of them up. I like pink too, if you can't tell. And let's just start hanging stuff up. We're gonna sneak in a purple one. She likes purple too. And I feel like that's a cute selection for now. Let's add some stuff to the shelf. In Glinda's original closet, there's one shelf that has all purses and the other that has all shoes, so we're gonna kind of mix it up and put both on the shelf. Do you guys remember these gorgeous shoes? They will be so perfect for this. I think we're all done for this room, at least for now. It looks so good. On to our other room, and I immediately know the first thing I have to add. This little flower light. Are you kidding? It's literally not only adorable and just like so fitting to the space, but I swear in Glinda's original closet, she has something just like this. In fact, she actually has like a ton of things in jars like this, but I only have one. But this will be so perfect. I have this little pink plate that was actually part of like a dinner set that we had in the kitchen, and I feel like it'll be the perfect little jewelry holder. This is a closet and there's not many mirrors going on, so I feel like this little mirror will be the perfect thing to add. And let's add this cute little blush. We're doing it. We're stealing the candles from the dining room. They're just too perfect for the space. I can't not use them here. There's this little jar that I'm also stealing from the dining room, but it's, again, just too perfect. I have this adorable little butterfly jewelry box that'll go so good on this middle shelf. It is extremely difficult to figure out what should go in these weird little bottom shelves. I don't know what they did for theirs. I think one of them literally had just like a bunch of random silver balls. I don't know, but I feel like the best bet might just be like folding up some doll clothes and putting them in there. And I guess I'll do the same with the other one. I'll put this little jar of pink confetti onto the middle shelf. I have this little book that is such the vibe for this room. I made this for a mini doll story I made so long ago, and it's just gonna be so perfect for this. And then I have the cutest little alarm clock that I made. So cute. I am truly quite blown away how cute this room turned out. It's definitely my favorite between the two just because there's so many cute little things going on. Everything I love is in this room. It's such a me space right here. In the original closet, there are dresses hanging from these hooks over here. I am going to hang up this little pink robe. Also, I have these adorable little pink hangers. I only have like 3 of them. Otherwise, I would use them for like all of the clothes. I think I'll hang this one on the further hook and then hang a purse on the closer one. Let's lean up a couple bigger purses on the ground. And then over on this side, I have this dress that we're gonna hang up. Or not. And again, I'll hang a purse on the... I kind of have a love and hate relationship with this setup because it makes it even harder to see into the rooms, which is already hard enough, which is also why I decided to not make the little like round dressers that are like on the sides here. Because first of all, I don't even think they actually made it into the final cut of the movie, just like the demo videos of like showing the different scenes and spaces. I do have to remember, though, that everything I'm doing right now is not permanent. When it comes to the decorating stuff, I can always switch stuff up, and you'll probably notice some switches as we continue on. There's a small stool in Glinda's closet that I think would be awesome to recreate. So I have a whole bunch of wood pieces pieces that I'm going to stain and varnish. I glue the wood pieces together. I glue a piece of foam to another piece of wood, wrap it in black leather material, and glue it to the top of our stool. I did reverse the colors of the stool and made the top black and the legs brown, unlike the original, but I didn't have brown material for the top. Anyways, I think it's nice. I'll just like put it over here for now. And then another thing I noticed in Glinda's closet were shoe boxes. So I quickly made some, and we can just kind of stack them around the room. Now I'm sure you've been thinking, Ava, this is amazing. You're amazing. You're incredible. But what the heck is gonna go behind the huge circular door? Because it's kind of like the main centerpiece, even though there's nothing there. So I did go right ahead and made a backdrop. I did this off camera. I was lazy. I didn't feel like filming. I've been filming everything. And I just wanted something that I could do off camera. So I did all this off camera. I basically just tried replicating the exact background from Glinda's closet, and I feel like it turned out pretty good. And I'm all of a sudden feeling a little less nervous about all this because it's just bringing the whole space together, for sure. Oh, I'm just realizing right now that you can see the dollar store label from the foam board through the roof, so I should probably get rid of that. Now, of course, it's not Glinda's closet without Glinda, so it's finally time to open up these dolls. And let's start off with Elphaba. And there's tape, my least best friend. I think they did a really good job on the doll. Some of the braids in her hair were kind of messed up, so that was annoying. But other than that, I feel like she looks pretty great. Love the hat, love the broom, and all the details they gave her. Although I was making Glinda's closet, I had to get her as well, of course. Okay, now it is time to open up the Glinda doll. More tape! Now this is what I truly can't wait to see, guys. The moment of truth. Glinda in her closet. I almost panicked because her head was literally almost hitting the top of the doorway, but then I remembered she's on a huge doll stand right now. I wonder if she can stand on her own. She can. Okay, there she is without the doll stand. She's still quite tall, honestly, especially with her crown. But she's so beautiful in this space. Like, it's such a Glinda space. Obviously, it's her closet. The doll is absolutely gorgeous. They once again did such a good job with her as well. The dress is so pretty and looks just like the one from the movie. Now, there's still one box, and you're probably wondering what the heck's going on because we already opened up Glinda, we already opened up Elphaba, but we got another Glinda doll. Yes, this is a bit excessive, but after I bought the first Glinda and Elphaba doll, I saw that they have this, like, signature Glinda doll that's just, like, a little bit higher quality. Okay, I'm very excited to see how this Glinda doll looks in the space. Oh, no! Okay. That was a little dramatic. It wasn't that deep. Oh my gosh, she's so cute! I mean, her outfit is just better quality, clearly, and she was a more expensive doll in general. She fits perfectly through the doorway. I'm glad I didn't make it any smaller than it is, though. I wish we could get more lighting into this room. Like, I swear, I literally have, like, so many lights set up right now, and it's still not enough. And in the movie, it kind of even looks like there's a bit of, like, this pink light coming through the roof. And so I'm kind of curious to see what it would look like if we used our little box lights, because yes, the rest did arrive on time, and now I have 6 of these things. And I'm kind of curious to see what it would look like if we shone some like purple light through the roof. Because like that alone isn't really doing anything, but let's turn off some other lights. Okay, do you see what I'm trying to go for? There's lots of opportunity to play around with the light here. There's so much opportunity here. This looks so pretty. I can't get it perfect. Like I swear getting lighting right is so difficult, but I still think we can get some pretty cool shots. We can even play around with the lights in the little rooms and make them pink too. And so that was me recreating Glinda's closet from the Wicked for Good movie. I am so in love with this room. It is pretty darn similar to the original. Obviously not everything's perfect. I didn't make the big light fixture on the roof because I had no idea how I was going to do that. Definitely let me know what part of the room is your favorite and what you think of the room in general. For me, I'm just really proud of how the actual structure of the room turned out. Like making the doorway and the roof and all the textures on the walls. It was a lot of work, but it clearly turned out. It also helps that I love pink, so making this room was just so much fun for me. Because it's all pink. It's pink galore, and I'm obsessed. This is definitely one of my bigger projects, and you can tell how long I've been working on this thing solely based on my nail growth. Like, at the start of this video, my nails were fresh, and now they're quite grown out, but I hope you appreciated the Wicked theme. I thought that was pretty fun. Please don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed today's video. It really does help out so much, and I always appreciate your guys' support. You're the reason that I can do this stuff. I am forever grateful. So if you're not already, please make sure to subscribe. Also, don't forget to check out June's journey by clicking the link in the description box below or scanning the QR code on screen and jump into the new Wicked event today. I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!